Hi, this is Speedway Jeff, A to Z Radio at ROCKNPOD. This is actually our last interview, at least my last interview for the day, so I hope I don't fumble through it too much. It's been a long day. Probably been even longer for you. I have Ainsley, and I have Brian Walsh, who's bass player for Ainsley.
How you doing?
Hi, nice to be
great.
here.
Tell us a little bit about your experience. I'm hoping I read up on the right person. Have you done writer, musician, singer?
Yeah, that's
kind of moved
that
all
sounds
over
right.
the world.
Yes.
Actually, my favorite thing of this was right now you went to WB Academy.
Yes.
For all the performance, but also fencing
Uh-huh.
and fight choreography. I was like, what better prep for the music industry
Yeah,
than
right.
those two? That's like that
Except
should be
that
required.
It's all fake theatrical fighting. I don't know how to
okay.
actually fight. It's the sword fighting
They don't
you
need
see
to know
like,
that. You get that sword out, they know you mean business.
It's the sword fighting you see like in Princess Bride and Charlie's Angels and, how to fight acting kind of thing.
Yep.
Because at first, too, like when I saw that timetable in the college, I was like, fencing? What? I came here to do singing, acting, and dancing. And like I see fencing on there, and I was like, what is that? And then I was like, oh, I got to the class, and it was amazing. It was like
acting.
another acting class, and it was so much fun. It ended up being one of my favorite classes. It was so cool.
But it was just, you don't normally see that on the resume of the people that we are interviewing here.
Yeah.
But you've been recording since 2008, 2009. Is that sound
Yeah,
about right?
I mean, even earlier, probably earlier recordings like 2006. I actually did the first debut album in 2007.
Okay.
In Melbourne, in Australia. It was my first debut record when I was still young, just out of that performing arts college. So.
So going back to I put down you have like a nomadic childhood because it's from what I read you've lived all over the place.
Yeah.
So.
I was actually born in San Francisco. So. Born in California, but my mom is from New Zealand. So we went back to New Zealand for some of my other younger years, moved to Australia. And so that's my easiest answer is that I'm from Australia because I spent the longest time there. And then we moved back here
Can I
to
ask
Nashville.
what part of Australia?
Melbourne.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
We actually, one of our biggest listeners is in New South Wales.
Oh, very cool.
He plays us all the time, so.
Yeah, and Brian's been to Australia a few times too, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like we have a following in Australia, so.
Very cool.
That's good. Brian,
hello, everybody.
Brian, tell me a little about how you ended up with Ainsley and maybe more background on you.
We share, like so many people, we share some common music-related friends here in Nashville, and I was playing in another band, and Ainsley had a gig coming up, and something happened with their bass player. She needed a bass player really fast, so my friend who was friends with her said, you can borrow him, just don't steal him from us. And
I didn't mean to.
It kind of worked out that way. They're still together. We're all friends still.
You're the second bass player I've talked to today that has kind of slid in.
That's how
from a permanent or from a temporary to a permanent. So
I might be maybe the second one that's admitted it, but we all do that.
Yeah.
That's the way this business works. So I think that was like 2010, wasn't it? Somewhere around there, 11. Yeah. It was in the winter. I know it's the first gig that we did together. It was like all of 12 degrees outside. And during those times, before all the construction boom started here, you could park across the street from the club and just walk in 5 minutes, not pay to park. Those are the good old days. Those are the good old days. Well, I got in there, my hands were like ice. Had all like 5 minutes to go on stage. I had to go in the bathroom, use the hand dryer to try and loosen up my fingers, but it was a Billy Block show.
Yeah.
Rest his soul. It was great. Turned out to be a great show. But I started with her back then, 2011, as a loner bass player from Sun Circle.
Recorded a lot of records since then together, and a lot of shows, and a lot of miles.
Play some keyboards for her.
I play keys too. That's his little secret, secret instrumental.
That was the first
talent.
thing. When I was 9, my mom and dad decided I needed to learn how to play a musical instrument, and they made me take piano lessons, which I was happy to do, till I started with the teacher. This was in Rochester, New York. And she was an Eastman School of Music graduate, and man, she was like militant. she would threaten to charge me 25 cents every time I made a mistake, and I would go out crying to Mama, how am I going to make this money? You know, where am I going to get this money from? She said, you just better not mess up.
So you've had opportunity, it sounds like, to tour worldwide, being over.
Well, I'm not with Ainsley. We share some friends in Australia that I visited down there, but I never played with Ainsley.
Yeah, most of my tours have been a solo acoustic, the ones I've done, because, independent artist, so I had to go, what do they call, walk the pavement and do those foundational tours by myself, just me and my guitar.
Paving the way.
That's what I was looking for, paving the way.
So how easy or hard is it to find gigs around Nashville?
Yeah, so it just depends, I feel like, on the season and the venues and what you've got going on in the moment. So I think right now we're gaining some traction again with the new releases. So I think now it's starting to rev up again.
And you just released something today?
Yesterday, the Beast is coming.
This is how Facebook works. I never see anything the day it's posted anymore.
Oh, okay.
It's usually the next day.
Oh, that's funny.
So then that's the Beast. Yeah. The Beast is coming. Is that?
Yes. Okay. So that's the latest single. It just dropped yesterday, and really excited about that one. It's one that we've played live for years, and it's always been a crowd favorite, and now it's finally on record. So. Everybody download it. It's here.
Yeah, well, see, we will.
It shreds.
And A to Z has a thing called Fresh Cuts, where we try to find new releases from people that aren't necessarily well known to try and give them the exposure. So this will be a perfect fit for us.
That's
to
amazing.
Get on air.
Yeah.
When we do the Fresh Cut, you're in kind of a heavier rotation for a month, and then we kind of put you in with our regular flow of things. So you'll be in with just other bands that get a lot of play, but you'll in the middle of the day you'll all of a sudden be in there between an Iron Maiden song and a Johnny Cash song.
Yeah, perfect.
That's
exactly.
kind of our format. So this will be great for that.
And that's
now I happen to do I do a live show every Friday night, and it's called Friday Live Music. So if I could finagle a way to get a live version of it, I would definitely play it on my show.
Okay, we can definitely do that.
That's my thing. But I will also occasionally play non-live just as part of the Fresh Cut, or at the beginning of the show, just to kind of spotlight. And I'll probably do that with the people that we've been interviewing this week too. Or today. So
perfect.
I appreciate that.
And I appreciate you supporting independent artists. That's really cool.
Oh yeah, we make a point of it. Really, it's we've been lucky to run across a lot of artists our other owners have played in bands, and we just want to give that avenue for some exposure. It's we're not going to bust you out worldwide, but we're going to at least get you some new fans.
Yeah,
we're more than appreciative.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
So, kind of going down my list of things, where's your favorite place to play in Nashville, and then anywhere else? So do you have a favorite spot here?
Ooh. What are we trying to think?
Basement East.
Yeah, I do love the Basement East. Is great. The Beast. That's funny.
We call it the Beast.
The Beast. Yeah.
Okay.
Basement East is really cool. East Side Bowl.
And we're heading there tonight.
Yes. Third and Lindsley is amazing. Yep. All of those venues that still support. It's not there anymore.
I know.
That still support. Original shows. Unfortunately, sometimes there's so much saturation of cover bands and things like that. It's cool to find there's venues that are a bit off the beaten path, for people who are traveling here, but that's where you go get the good stuff. There's that original underground awesome music that you need to hear, It
kind of tags on to your question about how easy is it to find gigs around Nashville. It's a lot harder if you're just playing to play original music. Because club owners, of course, they want stuff that people know. They want cover.
They want to bring in the.
You might be able to, if you're lucky, blend in a few of your songs, but for the most part, it's a lot tougher to find gigs. Unless you're a really established solo artist, with already has a following. So
you definitely
impossible. You just gotta work hard.
Just gotta work hard at it for sure, and that's what we do. It's really work hard and put in those hours of promotion and
outside of
independent
Nashville,
work.
is there somewhere that you had a really great show, or that you might like to go just watch a show?
I love playing in Ohio. I love Ohio. Like, people there are always like so cool to me. Like, I don't know, I just get such a good feeling over there. So
also down south of Atlanta we have.
Atlanta's really cool. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, there's amazing fans everywhere, and then if I go overseas, like some of the shows I had in South America are amazing. In Wales, it's just like
and
the most amazing shows.
Yeah, how do they know me? How did they find me?
Yeah, and then they're just the passion and the excitement, and they're.
She has a fairly famous brother in England that owns a tennis academy, so she's got a lot of contacts over there too.
I don't know about not in the music world.
No.
He just lent me his. I had a built-in tour bus because it was the tennis player bus.
Well, that's nice. You had that.
So I was like, oh, sweet. That was my main hookup. There was the bus. That was rad.
Any leg up you can get.
Yeah.
Don't overlook that.
But we did get stuck in a tiny little English street with that bus because we got lost and we turned around and you can't like do a U-turn. Like you would hit someone's house. And
like Austin Powers trying to turn that.
Yeah, exactly. It was Austin Powers, and we just got out and we're just like, oh my gosh. And then one of the locals came out and did it. Like,
they're used to it.
Came out of his house and did it, and we're like, thank you. That was really fun, amazing experience. That was again me and my dad's my manager for years. We've done miles all over the world, me and him in that bus. Oh, like getting stuck in a tiny little street, going to pick everybody else up.
So, if you can pick like one song that you say you guys should play this, aside
like a
from
cover song,
or any song like that you've done, aside from the new release, what would it be?
What do you think? You answer that. I can't. These are all my babies. It's hard for me.
One of my it's a new song for Ainsley. One of them, my favorites, is a song called "Pretty."
Okay.
And that one rocks pretty hard. It's real catchy. That's probably one of my most favorite ones to play. So I'm going to vote for "Pretty."
All right. And on that, I'll give a shout out to my co-writers on that, Monique Sundance Tefile and Caleb Sherman, amazing songwriters. He's an awesome producer here in town. They also have their own band, Her, the infamous Her. And such a pleasure to write that song with them. I don't do many co-writes, and that night something happened, a spark just ignited, and that song happened, and so that's on the newest. That was one of the newer releases. Just such a high energy, fun rock pop tune. And I enjoy playing it too because it's like a girl rock anthem, like.
So would you describe your sound more rock, pop? I mean, how would you, what little silo would you put yourself in, or do you just not want to be limited?
Yeah, I don't like to be limited, exactly. So I was saying this in other interviews, like I never, with all the growing up in this business, all the record label meetings and all the things, it's like, what's your genre? You got to choose. You got to be this. You got to be that. You got to look like this. You got to do this. As I got older, I was like, this is what comes out of me. Like, I don't know, and I'm not going to block it because I'm supposed to be writing like this. So, but naturally what comes out is rock, pop, Americana, blues, She's
kind of like a chameleon. She changes her color with her mood.
Yeah, so I like somehow in a show it comes together. Like there's these highs and these ebbs and these flows, and it feeds those emotions. And I don't think everyone is just like one level. Everyone wants to feel a harder song, a soft song, a blues song, and then a rock song. I don't think people work in one way. Well, in my mind, I'm like all over the place. So I never like to be in one genre.
That's always the hardest question that I ever get asked as one of her band members. So what kind of music does Ainsley play? It's like, have you got an hour?
Yeah.
You know, I can't explain it in one word. You know, if you had to generalize it, it's a widespread version of everything from folk rock to harder rock, but not metal. But there's definitely some really strong metal-influenced vibes to some of the songs on there. But it's everything from one of those extremes to the others, and different levels.
I mean, a lot of guitar level, like a big wall of guitars. There's so many layers. I do so many rhythm tracks in my recordings. I do a lot of rhythm parts, a lot of lead parts. I hear so much going on in my head. So like when you hear these recordings, you hear this wall of rock guitars, and it's strong.
Songs that sound like Jewel, and songs that sound like Guns N' Roses, and everything in between. So there's a mixture. There's a mixture of everything.
That's good.
And, and it can move around depending on when I do these tours solo. Then it's like a softer acoustic side that still rocks, but like. And then you see the live show, and it's like, oh, then here's all these arrangements coming together, you know.
And she's also the best Chrissie Hynde person in the country right now. We have another band. We have a tribute band to the Pretenders, and she's Chrissie Hynde in that, and I'm the bassist.
We're the Pretenders Experience.
All right, I will look for that.
Yeah, so we do that gig a few times a year, and I get into character, and I put on the whole shtick. And
see, that's why Ohio loves you.
Yeah, maybe that's why, because I just love going there. Yes, but I enjoy that. I mean, she's one of my idols. It's an honor and a privilege to play tribute to that music and her performances and all her quirks and everything, you know. And I try to put all that in there and just play.
Unlike the real Chrissie Hynde, this one eats meat. So.
Shh! Don't tell her.
she'll get mad.
We'll edit that out later. Don't worry. Well, I think we're about out of time. Appreciate you coming and talking to us today.
Well, thank you for having us.
I know it's a long day, interviews, and it really helps us to kind of personalize the experience of what we play. So thanks again for your time, and appreciate you coming in.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay.